Just 3 words. Life worth emulating. Life worth emulating. For those of you that don't know, I am the nephew with more education than job. And I'm glad that you chuckled, because just as this big, beautiful mural shows a wide smile on Bill's face, I know he's in heaven smiling, even as I say this. More education than job. But what I want to share with you today is a lesson that I learned more than 20 years ago. You see, at that time, my wife and I were living in a home owned by Alfonso and Brazilian Thurman. We had an opportunity to stay there while we were rehabbing our house in Oregon, the first house that we bought. And we stayed there for about 3 months. And about a month in, I was fascinated. Here is a couple that had been married more than 20 years, very accomplished. They work during the day, they even work in the evening, and yet they're able to come together in a way that is absolutely beautiful. Friday nights, they pop popcorn, watch a movie. They play with each other, they chuckle, they kid each other, as we would see a seasoned relationship and the way we would want it to be, rather than a relationship that after 20 years people are complaining about the spouse. We see so much of that. And yet here I saw this couple live together in a way that was beautiful. And that was meaningful to me because I came from a broken home. I hadn't seen it. And I'm often fond of asking the question, how can I do it if I haven't seen it done before? And so here I am in this house, seeing this beautiful couple, and then all of a sudden the phrase comes to me, life worth emulating. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to be. That's what emulation is. Emulation is, this is who I want to be when I grow up. This is how I want to act. I want to follow that person. I want to accomplish the same things that that person has accomplished. I don't want what they have. I want to build that capacity in my own life. Life worth emulating. We call them mentors in today's world. And so I had learned this lesson in observing in life, and then for a period of time I was wondering, goodness gracious, this is the first couple that I have seen life worth emulating. And then it occurred to me, I had come to visit Bill and Linda a month or two later, that Alfonso and Brazilian weren't the first couple. It was Bill and Linda who demonstrated life worth emulating. The way Bill loved Linda, the way Linda loved Bill, the way they worked together, the way they lived together. They were together basically 24/7. They treated each other with dignity and with respect. Yes, they had their challenges, their hurdles, but they faced them together. They took care of each other. They honored each other in their words, not just to each other, but in the words that they said about each other to other people. Life worth emulating. Bill and Linda Kloehr. Now, relationship isn't the only way that Bill demonstrated life worth emulating. He was bigger than life. I remember him telling the story of leaving home and going on the rodeo, though his parents didn't want him to do that, and traveling the trains and what he learned from doing that. I saw Bill work in his shop and the brilliance in his brain as he thought through how to accomplish a particular goal, and how he fastidiously, with great effort and precision and persistence, wrote down and figured out what are the steps that are necessary in order to accomplish this goal, in order to make this pattern, in order to take this piece here and make it fit with that piece there, and to work seamlessly, and not just for a moment, but also for a lifetime. Life worth emulating. And as I reflect on the relationship he developed with Jeremy and with Terry and with Kevin, and not just family members, but the people in his shop, how he cared for them. When I think about his interaction with Eddie, what I see is life worth emulating. And it hurts my heart as I think that in his last days he flew to see and bury his son, and that contributed to the health problems he had. But he did it because of love, of loving family, of being connected, and so connected that he had to be there and that he had to do whatever it took in order to be there. Life worth emulating. Evidence of life worth emulating is that Bill was surrounded by his children, his grandchildren. In the last few days before he went on to be with the Lord, how they looked up to him, what they learned from them, how they positioned themselves. Even though they were not related by blood, because they were related by love. Life worth emulating. And I don't know about you, but I know that I could not live long enough to fill Bill's shoes, to accomplish the things that he accomplished, to be as accomplished in my own life as he was in his. But he lived life worth emulating. And evidence of that is the fact that each person is here. What brought you here? What connects you with this family? What connects you with Bill? Are experiences worth emulating. When some people die, the world becomes a darker place. The light that emulates from their life sheds light on a path that we should walk, sheds light and sheds love. And with Bill's passing, the world has become a darker place. But you see, we can change that. When we remember how Bill lived his life and lived it in a way worth emulating, lived it in a way worth repeating, lived it in a way that inspires us, when we move ourselves in that direction, what happens is we create more light in the world around us. When we live life worth emulating, then our children, our grandchildren, our friends, our neighbors see how to live life in a way where it promotes life, where it promotes goodness, where it promotes growth, where it overcomes challenges, where it defeats the enemy, where it builds where there was destruction, where it avoids destroying so that others might live life worth emulating. And so, yes, we mourn the passing of Bill's life, and I pray and trust that in that process, part of what will happen is each one of us will remember life worth emulating. Each one of us will confess in some area of our life, I want to be like Bill when I grow up, and so I'm going to do this the way that Bill did it. Because when those of us in this room do that, the world that has been darkened by his absence will become brighter. And it will not only become brighter for us in those moments, it will become brighter in the future of our children, our grandchildren. As we live, we learn, and we breathe life worth emulating.